Hello everyone, I'm Mahdi Vahedian, and this is our first e-learning experience for our Saturday classes. I'm gonna cover the Mr. Edip's material for the previous week, and in this session we're gonna talk about strings, method, and if we're gonna have enough time, I will give you a very small description of some very useful tools that we need. So I have my Visual Studio open here, as you can see, so to working on. And for first, I want to ask you that what is exactly the string? So I'm opening here. Okay. What is the string? So string, we all know. I actually explained that on previous semester about C++, but I'm saying it here again. String is actually the array of characters. So what does it mean that the array? We're gonna actually learn array in a little bit, like maybe this session, maybe next session. The thing that I want you to know that a string A, for example, okay, will store characters in it, and as the character became bigger or smaller, the size of this A will be bigger. For example, if we put A equals to hello, so A0, so the zero index of the A will be H, will be the character of the H. So this thing I want you to know that for now, but we're gonna actually explain this in future a lot more. So basically this is how this hello it will be stored. It will be HELLO, like this. This is a string. So I want you to know this for now, but we're gonna right now working with some functions of the strings, because strings are very important for our working with programming. Maybe right now you're thinking like, what's a big deal about this, but you will realize that it's very important. So now for now let's move to the first thing that I wanted to explain. So the first thing that I want to explain about this is a function named equal, which is very handy one. So how we can do this? So first of all, I have to actually make something here. So I'm putting for example a button for sure we need, and two text boxes. So I want to when I put some text here and a text here, so these functions I gonna work with them so in this form right now, like this. So you will see. So let's make this button bigger. So the first thing is equal. So the thing that this equal does is check if the two strings that we have are exactly the same or not. So they are actually return equal is returning two values. Okay, either it's gonna be true or it's gonna be false. This is important to know that they are returning values. Okay, so they are not changing anything, they just returning something. So this is true and this is false. So it will make returning one. So let's check it. For example, I'm saying for here I need an if text box 1 dot, oh, let's just put it in a string here for better understanding. string a equals to text box 1 dot text. So now I'm saying if a dot equals to what? Equals to text box 2 dot text. I can do that, there is no problem. Message box dot show, for example, give me a message and says they are the same. But else what should do? Again, message box, but tell me they are not the same. I explained this before. If I put it like this a dot equal text box 2 dot text, it exactly look like I'm doing this. It is exactly the same. Okay, there is nothing different. If I wanted the false, for example, I want to say if it was false, so I'm putting it like this, I'm writing it false, or I could actually delete this and put another parenthesis here and put like this question mark, which is like not, if they're not equal. Usually for false is better to, because it can make some confusion. So if you wanted to make it like if a dot equals the text box 2 dot text is false, so just putting it like this, it's better. So anyways, let's check it out. If I'm putting here Vistula and here exact the same one, I press the button, it says they are the same. But if I, for example, add something here, they're not the same, as you can see. And if I put like big A here, also is not the same. So basically equal checks that if they're exactly the same. So if I, for example, change one of these things to a bigger letter, okay, it's not gonna work. It gave me the false. So it should be all in the same letter to give me the message that they are exact the same. So another thing is contain. So the contain method is checking that if in our string there is a part of the other string is inside of it or not. So let's say it like this. Again, actually I need that if. So now I'm saying if a dot not equal, sorry, contains let's say text box 2 dot text. So if a dot contains text box 2 dot text, show me the message and say text in box 2 is on box 1. And if it's not, just tell me there is no trace of box 1 in box 2, for example. So this function also contains is also the return type, so is returning true or false. When we're going to talk about the methods, I will tell you, you will understand these things much better. For now, just know that they are returning true or false. So now let's say yes, okay. Now let's say I'm putting again, for example, Vistula, and here I putting just V and I. If I press the button, text in box 2 is on text 1. Yes, exactly. So there is VI in Vistula. Okay, if I put La, which in Arabic is no, if I putting it, it says text in box 2 is now is on. So it's happening. So it means this La is here. But if I putting it like this, it says no. Look, the lower and upper case is always a big deal. Always a big deal in any programming language. Most of the programming languages, actually, to be honest, yes, in all of them. It's a very, very important and big deal. So that's why here is having like this. If you want to do it in a safe way, for example, you don't care that this A should be small or big, and anyways you want to check they are the same or not, we using another function which I'm saying it right now. And another function I want to talk about is to upper or to lower. So what I'm doing here is I'm making another string, text box 2 text, okay, and I'm using it like this. I'm saying A is equals to A dot to lower, for example, and B is equals to B dot to lower, and here I say A contains B. Sorry, B. So let me first say it like this: to upper and to lower. These two are also return type function. And what are they returning? They are returning the uppercase of our string or the lowercase of it. Yes, of string. So it means if I have, for example, something like this, okay, and I'm putting it that, for example, put these two up. For example, we have a equals to this, okay, and if I put A dot to upper, the result will be this. So we know that, but the thing that we should know is A dot upper is returning something. This thing is returning something, so we need to put this on something. If we want to, for example, changing this Mahdi here to uppercase, we should say A is equals to A dot to upper. This is very important, okay? So let's move on. So in this case, let's see what's gonna happen. I say A contains B, right? So, oh, I forgot to stop actually the debug. So, okay, string. I'm here saying Vistula, okay? And if I put La, it gave me like text in box 2 is on text 1. Let's just making it easier. I'm saying it here, just say yes, or here just say no. So let's see. If I put Vistula and I put La, it gave me yes. So if I put La, like at this bigger one, is also giving me yes, because they're just lowercase. In reality, these two text box the text of them, it didn't change. We just putting it on another string, which is A and B, and we convert them to lower and upper, like to lower, sorry, both of them, making them lower, to just make the comparison easier. Okay, and that's it. So, but if I put something else, it says no, doesn't matter. So if I put large case Vistula and short case Vistula, it will be yes, because they became to lowercase. Both of them became lowercase, and that's why it works. So I suggest you, when you want to compare two strings, like in here, we want to compare two strings together, and we don't care about any lowercase or uppercase, so we are doing it like this. That's why to lower and to upper is actually very handy and important. So until now, okay, we know what's happening. So now let's do it like this. I'm commenting this too. So now the next thing that I want to say, the next one is okay, this I explained. So now we're going with and. Actually, it's not written like this. End with and start with. So what it does is actually, again, this is return typing. Return, it's returning the true or false. So it's like this. I putting let's just straightly go to the code about this. So I'm saying if A dot start with, if A dot start with B, message yes, otherwise message no. What does it mean? It means that if the name that by putting it here, the thing that I'm putting it in here, the text box 1, when I press this button, it will check anything that from this text box 2, if the thing inside of this text box 2 will be the same as start of this text. It's like this. I'm putting Mahdi and I'm putting M. So it will be yes, because Mahdi will start with M. With MA, also yes. But with MAD, no, it's not. It will be false. With any other thing, no. So because it starts with M, and if I put here big M, also it will be no, because this is bigger case, that's a lower case. For solving this problem, we actually doing this. If we don't care, if we are not care, we don't care that it's a big letter or small letter. So I'm putting Mahdi and I'm putting MA, for example. So it will be yes. And same thing about end with is opposite of this. So if it's finishing, our string is finishing with that other one. So it's like if I put in Mahdi, and here if I put D, finishing, yes. But the problem is if I just put a space, it will be no, because it's not the same. And if I put, for example, DL or DLK or whatever, it will be no. So that's A and B, like this is end with and start with. So let's go for index of. So what is this index of does? Very simple. This all of us knows, all of us knowing this this fact up to now, that if we have this string, okay, this string, it's distinguishing each character will be distinguished by an index number. What does it mean? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and like this 3, 4, 5, and 6. What does it mean? It's exactly that array that I explained, which I still didn't completely explain, but I will. So for example, it's gonna be like this. So it's gonna be stored like this. Vistula. Okay, and the indexes will be exactly the same that I told you. It will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We learned these in C++. Everywhere is the same. So we can actually refer to each character by writing if, let's say for example here we have str equals to, for example, this Vistula. So if I say str1, it will not returning v, it will not return v, it will return I, it will not return this one. So the output of this will be I. And don't forget the difference between string and character for the application is these two signs or this sign. This if I put in here I can put E, but in here for example I can put EI. Okay, so this is string, which says the application that it's a string, so you should define something like this. But if I put E, it will tell the application that you just need one square to just put E inside. You don't need to make a bigger thing like this. You don't need that. You just need to make one. So if you're getting any error somewhere when you're working with strings, be careful of these little devils. They're very important. It's actually getting look like a face if I'm doing it like this. Okay, anyways, so okay, so we are moving on. So we know about the strings that it's working like this. So the index of is returning these values, these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, like that we have here. So let's actually do it like this. We want to okay, we don't need this if and else and stuff, so I'm just commenting them. Let's say for example we have a text here on this A, and I want to find an index number of B inside of the A. Okay, so and I want to actually be the message box, show it to me. So it's very easy. I'm saying message box dot show, but it will be a problem here, not problem, but one confusion that I will explain. So I want to see text, find the text box 2 in text box 1. Okay, like the index of that one. So I'm saying a dot index of B, but message box is always showing string, not an integer. So here we are using a very simple toString function. This toString that you can see here, it's also a string function which converts everything to string. Instead of, for example, convert dot to int that we are using, here we are using dot to string, and it works. There is no problem. So let's check it out. I'm putting it here, Vistula, and I'm saying, for example, I want to see a U. What is U? It gave me 4. Let's check it out. In Vistula, yes, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is U that we want. Exactly. So it's working like this. So let's see if I putting U and L. I'm putting U and L. And I'm putting, it's again give me 4, right? But if I put U and P, it will be -1. So this is it. About index, don't forget, index is returning returning the index of our index number or -1. -1, it means it's not founded. So it means that it didn't find it. For example, in Vistula, if I say find UA, find this one, it cannot find it because we don't have it. After U is L, so it will not find it. It will return -1. This is very handy and important. Okay, something tells me that these fonts are very small, so let me actually make them bigger. Sorry if you had trouble to see it good. I'm trying right now to make them bigger. Here again, okay, let's make it 14. Okay, now it's, I think, more visible. Let's make them bigger also. Okay, so this is about index of. Now there is something else about index of also. I can say that for example, in some cases, let's just have it here. For example, I can say find for example letter S, okay, but after for example third index, I want to see if there is any S or not after the third index. So as you can see, after the third index we don't have any, but it should basically say no. But there is a tool to do that, and for that we're using, after this B, we are using the index, start index. So I want to say after 3, for example. So if I put again here Vistula and I put S, I will get -1, because after the third index there is no S. S is in second index, as you can see here. S is in second, it's here. So after here, you actually you're saying the application that remove that part, don't care about that part, so just think about here. Tula, in this Tula there is no S, so that's why it's not working. This is very important to know. And yeah, okay, so that was something else about index of. Now I want to explain another thing about strings, which is insert and remove. Okay, so I'm coming back here at my iPad. So okay, insert and remove. So what are they? They are insert. Okay, they are returning, both of them returning and a string. Okay, which one of them is inserting, adding a string to another one, and removing. But this removing, it means it removes a certain part of the of our string. For example, we want 3 characters to remove, or I don't know, for example we want to 4 character remove, so when we use removing, it will remove and return that. So it doesn't mean that if, for example, we have something like string a equals to Mahdi, for example here, if I say a dot remove, for example, 2 characters, and sorry, for example, from two characters, okay, from index 2 0 1 2, so 2 characters, magically a will not be just will not be mah. No, that's wrong. If I want to make change inside of the a, I should say a equals to a dot remove, because this part is just returning a value, just returning the mah. Okay, it's not changing the mah, it's changing this string. It's not changing that. This calls about this, actually we're going to have a discussion. It's about call by value or call by reference, that we're gonna actually talk about it later. But this is it, like here it's just returning something, okay? It's not changing the thing inside. There is no connection between them. There is no connection between this remove and this a. So that's why it's just this remove will take the anything that inside of that a and just putting removing something of it. Also for insert, also like this. It's not like if I put something so I change the text completely. No, the text will not be changed. So let's check it out. For example, I want to say a dot, let's say a dot, first we're going with index, no, not index, insert. So how is gonna work? For example, first I'm saying from where you should start, from 4, index 4, okay, and what to put b. Okay, b is that text box 2, right? So I'm putting here edip, and I'm putting here senurek. If I put this, the message box will show edip senurek. It's added at the 4th position. Okay, 4th position. Let's just draw it here. Let's draw it here. So I'm gonna move, zoom in. So okay, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? And I said at 4th, so it means this edip is only 3, like 3 indexes. But when I'm saying at 4, start at 4, it means start from here. So you just add that text to it. It's just like, for example, edip plus something. Okay, so it's starting from 4. Here is 4. Okay, so it will start on writing from here. It's going forward from here. But right now, let's do it like this. Let's say we don't know what is it inside of the first text box, okay, and we don't know what is in second, so we just want to compare both of them and just return, like take the value. So about that, there is something, there is another function which is also very important. Let me open here. It's length, the thing that I always have a problem with spelling. The length is actually returning an integer. Integer of the it's just the length of our th. See, I'm always a problem with this one. So for example, in the case of this string here, let me just move this here. For example, let's say this is actually a string a is equals to this. So if I put a dot length, okay, so it will return how many? 0, 1, 2, 3. 3? No, not 3, actually 4, because this is 4 letters. This is 4 letter, so that's why it's actually returning that. So if I put here, instead of 4, putting a dot length, so it's exactly doing the same thing that on previous one we did. We are expecting the same result. Yes, the same result. So, but in this case, I can put whatever I want. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. See? So it's not gonna be any mistake anymore. So because it's starting from that length, so that last character, I'm putting it there. If I putting, like, for example, -1, a dot length -1. So for example, I'm putting it here, edit, putting it senurek, and if I putting this, it will be edi senurek p, as you can see. So this is about insert. Same way it works with removing. Okay, same way. But with removing, we are not actually putting something, so we don't need to input any string. We just saying how many characters to remove. Okay. Dot remove. So first, as you can see, it says start index. So the start index, for example, I want to start from 1, and I want to remove 2 characters from the text box 1. Oh, forgot to close it. So now I put edit. It will be EP exactly. Why it became EP? Let's see it here. We have edit. We said starting from 1, so it will start from here. Okay, and I said 2 characters, so this character will count also. So therefore this character will be removed. This character will be removed also. So you're gonna be just remain EP. So that's the thing that we should know, which is very important. Sometimes because of this, we're just losing a big part of the application, or we don't know what's going on, because only because of that. Because when we're saying start with, so it will start from this place. So if I put, for example, 0, it will start from 0 and remove the 0 one. So that's very important. So let's just come back here. Instead of 0, I putting instead of 1, putting 0. So I putting edit again, and I putting message, and edit convert to IP. So that's how you can convert edit to an IP, as you can see. So that's the thing. But I want to show you something. Guys, look, we removed something, right? We removed 2 characters of A and stuff. So if I again message box the A, okay, let's see. Edit. So the IP removed, but see that A is still didn't change. As you can see, this A here, like A is being assigned in text box 1.text at the beginning, so it didn't change. Here became the lowercase, and here what happened? Okay, we removed, but we didn't remove anything of that A. We just take the A, just putting it in another dish, let's imagine it like this, putting another dish, do this operation on it, and then return the value to this, to here. So this a itself never changed. But if I put a equals to a dot remove, for example here, a equals to a dot remove this. So this one I should comment right now. I don't know what is that 2 dots here is added. Whatever. Okay, we're just gonna continue. Yes, I have 2 red dots here. So if I put edib, C is IP right now. As I wrote here, just show the A because I assigned the A to that. So that's the important thing that I want you to know. The trim. Trim is actually very handy, very handy function. So if I trim is actually removing the spaces. Okay, trim is remove this space. Trim. Okay, trim is removing space, but trim is also like trim or trim. Trim end or trim start. So the thing that it does is very simple. End is from end of our string. If we're going to have edib space space space, for example, like this, okay, if I input this, okay, that output will be just edib, and vice versa. If I put space 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 edib, it will be again just edib. But the trim itself without all of them, okay, if I put input like space 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 edib space space, it will return edib like this. So it's removing the both parts, but here it's just removing start here as a start, and at the end it's just removing the end. Let's check it out, but very quickly because these are not a very complicated things. So now let's say a dot trim end. Oh, okay. Mahdi space space space. So we just return Mahdi. Okay, so it will be no space actually. If I putting it, let's say putting it in text box 2 dot text equals to 8b. In this case, we can see the space if it's gonna be any space in it. See, there is no space anymore. Now let's check something. If I put just a this and I just put equals to a, let's see if it's gonna work. No, as you can see, we still have the spaces, because this one is also exactly like that other functions that I told you. This one also needs something to be put on, so it will just return something. If I'm putting it like this, it's not gonna work. It's just trim, but there is nothing to be shown. Okay, so again, very important. So this is trim end. If I put a dot trim start, also do the same job, but with like this, as you can see. But in the message box, it didn't remove the space, as you could see. Look, it have that space. We have this space here because it's still in trim end. That's why. and trim start also, but just trim itself, it will remove all of it. So we're gonna have our text without any space. It's very good. This function is very handy. So the last one, and it's 3 a.m. Okay, so let's go for substring. The most important, in my opinion, substring is the most important thing that we can imagine for the whole let's say the whole string operations. This is very awesome. So substring is actually returning, okay, the part returning, okay, the part of a string. What does it mean? What does it mean? If I have string A equals to Vistula, and I'm saying, for example, B is equals to A dot substring, first we should say start from where, okay? Again, Vistula, this is 0, 1, 2, blah 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 blah, you know that. So I'm, for example, here not starting from 0, I'm starting from 1, and I need 2 characters. So it will be start from here and give me these 2. It will be is. So let's check it out. This is very important. Let's say A dot substring, exactly like here, A1 start index, as you can see, and how many character? 2. We don't need this message box also. So it will be is. This is part of here. It started from the first index, and it took 2 characters. So it means, as the way that they showed you, even in insert, even in remove, it's starting from here. So when I'm saying 1, this character will be the part of the string also this one. So then it will take this 2, because I said 2. If I say 3, it will take this third one also, so it's gonna be ist. Okay, let's move to the next subject that I wanted to explain in this video, called method. So first of all, let's understand what a method is. First I have to open, okay, a method, make it bigger, okay. What is a method? Okay, method is actually, let's say it like this. A method is a series of instructions. There is instructions that we making them, and we make an object to follow that instruction. I know it's a bit like confusing, but let me explain. As you can see here, for example, in this program, as you can see, this is actually a method. This part is a method which is associated with an event. As you can see, event args. With that, about that I explained a bit in the class, but I will explain them later, like much more, because the events are very important. The thing that I wanted for you to understand right now is this thing right now, from here that we have private void up to here, it calls a method. So even if we see in here, as you see program.cs, okay, Here we have static void main. This is a method. This is the method that in every single programming languages, we have at least one method which it calls main. So this is main, as you can see, and we are seeing it here. And wait, in main void, yes, okay, we have it just here. Okay, and what is this file here? form1.designer. See, this is also filled with, you know, the methods. As you can see, there is a method here, and all of them actually we're going to talk about them in future. Okay, like for example, these codes that you can see here, all of them is on one method which it calls initialize component. These are responsible for making your making the whole controls on the form, like these controls that we have in form, it been made here. I closed it. I think, yes, I closed it here. I mean, as you can see, for example, button 1, these are like made with button 1. There is a location and there is a name, there is everything here, as you can see. And even you can make buttons, okay, all of it by code, not here in your program even. For example, if I click that button that I have, this button, by clicking this button, I want, for example, a label appears here. We're gonna talk about them in future. But for now, just know this, that what is the method. So, okay, now let's go for more important thing about the methods. Okay, methods can return something, or they cannot. So there is two kind of the methods. One is returning something, another one is not returning something or cannot returning something. And also there is two more characteristics of methods, is with parameter or without parameter. So with parameter or without parameter. So what does it mean? Okay, with parameter, it means that our method taking something. Like for example, we have a method called sum. So we have, for example, two numbers. We have, for example, 5 and let's say 10. So we need this 5 and this 10 to go inside of a sum method, okay? And then it's go in here in this sum, it will be 10 plus 5, for example. So here also the method can be just taking these two number, I mean this one and this one, taking these two number, sum them, and that's it. Or it will return this value. So if it returns this value, it means this value will be used in another place for something else. We're calling it from another method and we're asking this to do this thing for us. For example, let's say in this method that we have for this button, okay, we want to actually, in this program, we want to just click on button 1 and this text box and this text box actually sum up together, and the result will be shown as a message box. So I want to do it in a way of new method. So I'm gonna make a new method here. First, the kind of the method. This calls access modifier. About this we're gonna talk. For now, don't just ignore this public. I will talk about it in this session. So public, for example, sum. public void sum. So what is this void? This void is actually the it's about the functions that the methods that they are not returning anything. They are void, they are empty, so they are not returning anything. In this method, for example, we are not returning anything, okay? But this method is with a parameter because it should take two numbers, right? So I'm saying int x and int y. This is how we're defining the parameter. Here, okay, we taking two. It means this method will accept two numbers. It should take two numbers. I cannot call this method without these two numbers. So it should be there. So, okay, let's do it like this. I have, let me remove this one. Okay, I have these two. Okay. And right now I want to call sum. So calling the sum is like this, sum, right? And I'm putting a, but I have to convert it because it's a string. And convert to int b, as you can see. Okay, here I actually passing this number in text box 1 and text box 2. I'm passing it to this function, this method here. Now I need to do something about this, so I can say int sum is equals, very simple, I'm doing it very simple for you to just see that. Sum is equals to x plus y, and then I make a message box. Sum dot toString. Okay, now let's see. If I put here 15 plus 15, I put the button, it will be, result will be 30, as you can see. Or if I put, I don't know, like any other number, it will work. So what's happening here? Here I have, in the form, I putting 15 and 10. So A will be 15, 10, B will be 10 as a string. Then in here I calling a method that I wrote as sum, and I'm passing a, which is 15, and convert it to the integer because it's mathematical operation. And in b also, which is 10, I convert that to the mathematical to integer also because it's a mathematical operation. And instead of here we're gonna have 15, instead of here we're gonna have 10. Okay, and then what's gonna happen in sum, I have a variable named sum, and then I sum them together. You know, it's not anymore a and b. A and b is in this function, this method. In here is x and y. Also I can put a and b. Also I can do that, there is no problem. Why there is no problem? Because this a and b is different than this a and b that we have here. These two that are here, they are only can be read and being understood only in this method. This a and b is only available in button one click. Okay, if I have many other functions, okay, it will not gonna work. It definitely not gonna work. So a and b, as you understood. So here going to a and b also, so there's sum and it's showing it. Now let's make this method as a returning method. I have the sum here. If you remember in strings, I said that, for example, a string is returning something. So what I meant about that, at that time I told you, you will realize it, you will understand in this, when I'm talking about methods, it means it's returning a value. So it's not only just doing something, okay, it's returning something. See, I'm not initializing, for example, I don't know, int c, and I say, for example, c is equals to sum. See, I will have an error. Why? Because sum is void, it's not returning anything. Now let's make it return something. Okay, so if I want to return something, I should say what kind. The kind can be integer. Okay, let's just write it on my individual board here. So okay, the kind, what kind can be? Kind of returning. So it can be int, it can be double, it can be a string, it can be any other type. Any other type. It can return anything. Even it can return boolean. Okay, that's why for example on those methods that we had, for example, let's say about for example equal, about equal. If you remember that I told you earlier in this video, I told you it will send true or it will send false, because there is a method called equal, okay, in the whole C# library that is boolean type and is returning boolean. It is returning true or false. So inside of that method is like this. It says like if, for example, if for example our text1 is equals to text2, then return true. Okay, and for example else, return false. Else. So this is how it happening. Okay, this is all about this. For example, in a method length, in a method that we had length in string, length was returning a value, right? Length returning an index is returning because it's int. It's an int. So there is a method called public int length. Public int length, and is getting a string, for example string s, for example, and then it's getting open, and then here there is, for example, a loop and or whatever, like it's just going to find this length of our string. So this is what this method, as you can see, this method is what we can actually we have it. Somebody like wrote it for us like long time ago, so we have it already, and it's inside of the C# library. So this is the whole definition of these methods. Now let's come back to our thing. Here now I want to return something. Okay, I want to make it int because I'm actually returning something. Now see, we have an error because we don't have anything to return. So I have to put here return sum. Now here this thing is completely useless. Nothing gonna happen because it should be initializing something, because right now it's returning something. So I actually can do that. I say c is equals to sum this, and then I can message box here in this method, message box c dot to string. Now let's see. Now it's working, as you can see. Why? Because there is a 10 here. Here it became 10. Here became 20. Now I send this to here. So it will take this 10, 20, so sum A plus B, so 30, return sum, and it's returning. So also I can, instead of, for example, doing this, I'm just saying return A plus B. That also works. That's also the same thing. And here, for example, message box C, instead of saying message box C, I can actually saying exactly this thing here. Dot to string, actually, for sure. And remove this int. See, right now you're seeing this, you're like, why, that's too big, that's what's happening here, oh my god. No, it's nothing. It's literally nothing. We're calling a function sum, right? There is a function named sum, we have it here. And then I convert A and B to the integer because it's integer and there is a mathematical problem here. So I'm calling it, and then I'm converting it to the string because in message box it should be a string. It cannot be a integer. So it will solve this. It will return that value. So it will return 30. All of this will be 30 from here. All of this blue part will be 30. And then that 30, integer 30, will be converted to string, and message box is showing it. That's how these methods work. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. About the methods, as you could see, I put public. Okay, public void, for example, or like, I don't know, int or whatever, and some parameters here. This public, as I told you, it calls access modifier. This public, I'm not going very deep right now, I'm just like a bit saying about it because in classes we really need this. We should understand what is that. So I have, for example, here sum, which is doing it. Now, methods, okay, can have the same name. Okay, they can have the same name. How? Look at here. Public int sum, sorry, exactly same, I'm gonna write it. Sum int A, int B. Look, right now they are exact same, okay, and now I'm gonna take an error, okay, because they are exact same. But if here I put C and D, okay, it's still gonna be exact same, as you can see, exact, still I would have that error, so the parameter name, it's not gonna fix anything, okay, but the number of parameters is different. If I put A, you can see now it's working. For this is about like it means I can send only one parameter to this function. They have both the same name, but one of them is one parameter, another one is two parameter. So it is possible to do that. Even I can, for example, make another one and put no parameter. And I put, for example, returning 0 because it's no parameter. What can I do? This method should sum two numbers. So in this method and this method, I cannot sum two numbers because it's here I can take only one number, here I can take 0 number. But I can, for example, like make this plus 10, this A plus 10. for example. If you take the number, make it plus 10, and if you didn't take anything, put just 0. So this is it, like public int sum, so return 0. This is one thing. Also, I can, for example, making it like public void, and also making it the same, as you can see. So then we're not gonna have any return. Okay, so I have void here, right? But as you can see, again, I cannot do that because we have a sum which is the parameters are the same, but the kind, it didn't change the thing. If I change the names, let's see what's gonna happen. If we change the names, still is not gonna let us. So the main important thing about the methods is we can have the methods on the same name. Okay, the thing that is the factor that it distinguishes them, okay, one of the factors is number of these parameters. Number of these parameters is one of the factors. Right now, as you can see, if I remove one of them, okay, it will be fixed. Yeah, see, it will be fixed. But here again, with this one, I have a problem, because it's saying, okay, we have a method named sum which have one more parameter. Here I have one parameter, so I cannot do that. If I remove it even, again, it's gonna give me an error with this one, like here, because I have a method sum which doesn't have any parameter. So the parameter number are one of the factors that distinguish the function, the methods. The another thing is the names. Let's say I have this function. It's obvious. So I have, for example, this method and this method, they are exact same. But for example, here I'm putting sum2. Okay, it will work. There will be no problem. I can even, like, again, make this one, copy this one and this one also, but for example, just change the name. This is obvious, so I can actually change the name of the method, so it will not making any error. It will not make any confusions. Now let's test something. If I have this, but change the access modifier. See, still not working, because number of the parameters are the same, and we are in the same class, number of the parameters are the same, so it will not let us. This as you can see, when we have some methods that they have same name but a different number of parameters, this calls method overloading. Okay, for example, in a method remove, let me write it here, remove. Okay, we had two kinds, if you remember. Okay, we can actually in remove, we can say for example, remove just 2, so it means from index 2 delete the whole other string. For example, if we have Vistula, so it means 0, 1, 2. This is 2. From here, all of it deletes. So this is 1. If I put just 2, also I can say how many characters that I want to delete. For example, 2, 3. Which I'm saying from 2 delete 3. So in this case, to remove this. In this case, if I have Vistula, I'm saying from 2 remove 3. 0, 1, 2, so here is 2, remove 3. 1, 2, 3. This 3 will be removed. It will be Villa. So we know that, right? So we have, so in this case, think about it. We exactly have two methods, okay? One of them called, for example, remove, and is returning, right? Because remove, I told you, is returning something. So the structure of this will be this string, Oh, public string, sorry. For now, let's just imagine that it's public. It's more complicated than this, but for now, let's just imagine it like this. Public string remove, so it will be int, for example, I don't know, a. And then there will be a code here, which doing exactly that removal. And also, it's exact same method, which is called method overloading. This is method overloading, right? Which here, instead of one integer, we're gonna have two. And in end is returning something. Return something. Here also we have return something. These are the definition that is very important to understand, because when we move to class, the definition of the class, these information is actually a savior for us. They are very helpful. They are very, very important for us, and they are very helpful because we should totally understand what's happening in the backbone of the programming. This programming that we are doing right now, we are using some already defined functions and methods and everything. So we need to know what's going on in order to create many. So this is very important. So for now, this is all about functions. Oh, let me check this one. Let me just go for check the things that we wrote here. So one is just have two parameters. One of them has only one. As you can see, okay, let me explain it again. We have sum, which we passing two numbers to it, and then we convert the whole result. It will return some value, and then it will be converted to string, and then we are showing it. So this method, which is taking two, as you can see, we have two parameters here. Right? So another one, we just put it one parameter, if you can see. I didn't actually add this. See? So it's like this one. And another one, let's just copy this. So we will have three messages. Sum. Oh, I have to make it that to string because it's still should be string. So see, now let's check it out. I putting 20 and 20. What we for example, 20 and 30. What we expect in one of them, the result should be 20 plus 30, so 50. On another one, which will take just one number, so it should add 10 to it. Let's just change this to 40 to not make any confusion. So here, again, 20, 40, it will be returning 60. So the first message will be 60. The second message is a plus 10. So this plus 10, which is 30, so it will show us 30. And the third message will just show 0. Let's check it out. So 60, as we expected, 20 plus 40, 30, 20 plus 10, as you can see here, and 0. That is 0. That calls method overloading. Guys, look at here, the last thing. In C, for example, we have sum. See, it already knows the sum. I open parentheses. Look at here, it says 1 of 3. So it says like you have 3 different kind of sums here. It's true. If I put the arrow down, you can see that. I'm putting the arrow down, as you can see. First is like without any, another one is with A, another one with A and B. So if I put, for example, 10, okay, and if I doing this and 20, so I'm sending that. But if, let's do it like this, because I'm doing this because of the because I want you to really understand this. See, right now it says sum with 0, as you can see here. Look at my mouse here. The sum with no input, but I'm saying no, I have an input. See, it immediately changed. So you have one input. No, I have, for example, 2 inputs. See, again, when I put this comma, it will just jump to the third one, which it says like this. That's why we are saying in methods, use a proper number, okay, proper names for our variables. For example, here don't put a and b, a and like nothing. Here put, for example, number 1, number 2. Here put, for example, number 1, and here so it's nothing, and it will do the job. So I will actually make you some examples and give you some homework. So I want you to try it. Try as much as you can. Okay, it's already been a very long video, so for now is enough. I will give you some homeworks for this. Please work on this, please, because they're very important. And please contact me if you had any question. So for now, I have to say goodbye.